Welcome back to my channel. Hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 500. I'm going to do a giveaway, and when we get to 1,000, I'm going to do a giveaway live. So basically chapter 16, I'm not going to do a whole lot for. It is Chris's first official interview, and we all know what that first interview was. The night before he did the polygraph test, he was just stuttering and stammering, not making any sense. They asked him to write out his confession. He wrote it out, and then he just went on this rambling session, and he kept saying like and there was something else that he couldn't stop saying. Oh, I can't remember, but it just didn't make any sense. And so what the author has done is she opens up chapter 16 talking about Chris feeling all this anger again, and that it was the first time he had ever felt that emotion. And I find that hard to believe. There's no way that he lived his entire life and not ever been angry. And she again in chapter 16 says that he has no remorse. We get it. We know that. You have said that over and over. And she tells us that he originally said that Shanann killed the girls, and that he killed her in a blind rage. And now he's told her, we all know, that he wasn't in a rage that morning, that he was just mad because she was keep him from Nikki, and she had been keeping him away from his family, and that made him really mad. And so we also know she goes back into how he said that he felt nothing for his children when he was talking about them in this interview, and that it had not registered to him that his family was gone, and that he felt nothing for his children again. And it's just over and over. And that he never felt anger, and growing up he never got in fights and never got in trouble. She also says that he has signs of alexithymia. I think that's what it's called. ALEXITHYMIA. If you guys know some more about it. But the author defines it by saying the inability to express emotions or understand someone else's emotions. And so it goes into the night of this interview, that his first police interview that was recorded was on August 14th at 7 p.m. And that he sometimes answers his questions that he's asked with a non-coherent answer. It was just mumbo jumbo babble. And so if you want to watch that interview, I highly recommend you searching it on YouTube, because all she has done here is typed it out. So she's taken that interview that we've all seen on YouTube, not the one of the polygraph, but the one the night before, and typed it out. And if I had somebody else to be Chris and I could read the agent, it would be different, and I would be able to do this chapter. And I may come back and do that once I've finished the book, or whenever I can get somebody to come over here and do that. So I will call this chapter 16 part 1. And then when you guys see chapter 16 part 2, you know that I'm going to have another person, and we are going to read this like a screenplay, because that's how she did it. She basically just typed up that interview, put the agent and then what he's saying, just like you're reading a screenplay or like a manuscript or something. So she also put that Christopher wrote out his account of what happened that morning for them. And of course, he gave the same story in his written account of what he said in his sermon on the porch. So he didn't write out the truth, that's for sure. And then again, it's just the agent and Chris over and over. And the agent even has the nerve to ask if they should suspect Nicole Atkinson, if he got any weird feelings from her. And then they ask if they had Shanann's phone, and if they could look at his phone to see if there were any contacts in there that weren't in Shanann's phone. And then Chris kind of gets upset about how many times each contact is in his phone, because he says that Shanann would like sync it up and then it would duplicate his contacts, and it bothered him. So something that small bothered you after you murdered them is just wackadoodle. But yeah, it's basically just going into all of that stuff that we've already seen on the YouTube video. And it is pages and pages of it typed out. I think they talked to him for a few hours that first time, but I could be wrong. And then it says that after this very first interview that night around 7 o'clock, I don't know when it finished, that Chris came back the next morning to the police station. And that was right after he picked up his dad from the Denver airport. And that's when he took that polygraph test and failed it. And so next chapter 17, will be that polygraph test. So it doesn't look like that she has that typed out. Thank goodness. So I will be back with chapter 17. So sorry about chapter 16. There is no way you guys would understand it with me reading the part as the agent and me reading the part as Chris. And I kind of want to read the part as Chris so I can be monotone like he was and show no emotion and just sound like a robot, just like he did. And then I'll have someone read the agent. But this is chapter 16, part 1. Don't expect part 2 until I have a visitor. Bye.